Louisiana Beer Review Special Edition. Budweiser Double Down. You say, not another Budweiser video. The people can't get enough of it. It's about 11:30 a.m. daylight savings time, and it's becoming very cloudy. There was not a cloud in the sky when I was walking at 8 a.m. and it's starting to cloud up. I believe rain is coming tomorrow. Regardless, I did some other double down videos. Come to find out, I had done 2 double down videos for Steel Reserve 211. Who could ever get tired of Steel Reserve 6%? I hear this buzzing behind me. You can see already the azaleas, the white and the magenta, are starting to deteriorate. Those flowers look nice for 5 days. They start looking shabby after 6, and this is a week. They start to fall apart. But the bees go berserk. Listen to that hiss. Look at that smoke. 18-ounce bottle. I try to do the double downs with the 18-ounce bottles because for many people, or maybe most viewers, they're kind of an oddity. You get the 12-ounce bottles, you get the 24-ounce cans, well now in AB Anheuser-Busch InBev's case, 25-ounce cans. Here's an old Budweiser chalice. But the 18-ounce are kind of unusual. I've also noticed lately around here the re-emergence of the 22-ounce bottles. And of course we always get the 32-ounce quart bottles and the 40-ounce. That's common here for many, many beer brands. But these 18-ounce bottles, okay, which in the case of Bud Ice are brown and have always been, from my knowledge, whereas all the other bottle configurations for Bud Ice are clear. Kind of a odd, interesting thing there. Okay, and I think and people talk to me sometimes about collecting bottles and cans, and I said, you know, you could do just 18-ounce if you have access. That'd be an interesting collection, like enormous collection of 18-ounce cans and bottles. Okay. I have some food here, and I'm gonna eat it, obviously. Budweiser is that would be a thick head and a narrower brim glass. It's a flashpoint beer. It's sort of like a crucifix to a vampire with some of the more beer snob oriented. Now I have the, it's warming up, I won't need this pullover much longer. I have the dark kidney beans today, dark red kidney beans and some sausage, of course, and hot pepper and black pepper and cheese buried down in these beans. You know how I'm going to do it, you just know. And I even have some Zatarain's brown mustard to lay on those, sausages. Oh yeah, already prayed. I got some yellow onions cut up in there. And you notice, man. Okay. But Budweiser has, been around since 1876, and I've been reading about this beer, and not to mention other beer brands, for 20 years now, and there's so many things written about it that cannot be true, really. I don't think they're true. Like the flavor's changed over the last 40 years, but there's nothing that you ever see to substantiate it. I've had it for 20 years now. I can only speak for 20 years. I've noticed zero change. I've really noticed no changes in the flavor, the body, the aroma, the appearance of anything. I've been on many brewery tours. People will say, oh, well, they probably send you a bunch of stuff, and so, that's probably why you're always bragging on Anheuser-Busch InBev. Actually, I do get a lot of, I think over the last 3 or 4 years, I have gotten a lot of things from beer companies. But Anheuser-Busch InBev is really one of the companies that don't send me anything. They don't need to worry about me making these videos on YouTube. They don't need my help. So, No, they're like the least what you call it, bribers or whatever, considerationers. I mean, I talk to their distributors a lot. That's just because I tend to hang out with them in a work environment or shopping, and I see them, so, and they're pretty friendly, so I tend to talk to them. We get into some pretty heavy arguments also, like they're, I don't want to say too much, get the guy in trouble, but an area sales representative who I happen to know in a certain region, he'll always say, King Cobra, that's garbage. King Cobra, you don't want to drink that. I said, you know, it's curious, and I've told him this for 4 years. It's strange, you know, you're almost 4 years, going on 4 years. You're a salesman and you're telling people don't buy this product, and you're like actively ripping on the product, talking about how horrible it is. Yeah, but it's bad, and I don't actually go on. Poke my eye out. Poke your eye out, kid. Shoot your eye out, kid. I don't go along with that idea that it's bad. I tend to like King Cobra. I could do a double down on that one, right? And you say, oh, this double down bull that you're trying to, you know, pawn off on us is just an excuse to make more beer videos. Okay, you have got me there. That could be the case because I could just say a video, boom, for the brand, and on to something else, boom, a video, boom, boom, and go through it. Like I said, the long march through the beer brands. John Sharon at Zone 1, he said, and he agreed with me, I said, you know, really, John, and I've said this in other videos, you have to drink a beer at least 5 times to get a good handle on it. He said, I agree with that. So yeah, it is good to revisit, especially the big beer brands, because there's so many people drinking it and you can talk to more people about it. This is going to work out really well. I want to put that mustard on the sausage, though. Budweiser is, like I said, the flashpoint, one of the flashpoints in the beer drinking world. It's always bubbly, you know, it's clear. I find, and maybe Anheuser-Busch is watching this, but probably they aren't. I always notice that Budweiser has a slightly green tint to it. Now I know it sounds bizarre, but I've always noticed that. Now I'm holding it up against a blue sky, so but against any background. Now I mean it's 98% straw gold, but there's that, I don't know what it is. It's strange. I've always noticed that. And I did a examination of this with Maria Devon, the girl next door, and she said I don't like it. She said rice lagers, they don't work for me. Asahi, the Hitachino Nest red rice beer. There are some fabulous rice beers, okay? It's an adjunct. It has a certain definite use. We're going to look at Tsingtao, and that one is a rice beer. It's wonderful. Most of the Anheuser-Busch beers, they use corn. It's cheaper, I guess. But this aroma, it's distinctive. Like, it does have that rice aroma, that steamed rice aroma. And when I went to their brewery, they were cooking the rice separate from the barley, and I said, I thought they just threw it all in together. And the tour guide said, oh, no, it's cooked separately and then mixed later. I said, huh, didn't know that. Okay, so it has that slightly sweet rice, can't smell crispness, but it's like clean, like the aroma is so clean. And the flavor, This is where it really is exemplified. Like, there's that rice lager, and if you've not had them, it's hard to deal with it. It's so different than the corn-based. I mean, mostly they taste like beer, corn lagers or rice lagers. Okay, it tastes like stereotypical beer. But there's that, excuse me, there is that almost like you could say flinty or ultra crisp finish. The mouthfeel is light to medium, but between light and medium. But by golly, this beer is crisp and it is so pairable with food. And they have been focusing on that with their commercials lately, the pairability. So it goes so well with anything. It doesn't interfere. Budweiser does not interfere with the flavor of any food. I drink these wheat beers or the rich Belgian ales, whatever, and they, I think they're better as standalone beers because their richness, it'll kind of interfere with the flavor of the food and throw it off. But this does not. Does not. Now, you know, in the craft beer world, and I don't want to say craft beer because I know craft beer people who really admire Budweiser, okay? Like Sonny and some other people who brew beer. And Brad. But there is a character to this beer, and I made it, you know, I've made so many videos about it. My father used to hate Budweiser, but, you know, that's a bad example because he always drank the lightest beer he could get a hold of because he didn't like the flavor of beer. He drank it for 40 years. He just said, I only drink it to get drunk, you know. I said, so you basically, you use beer as a drug. He said, exactly. And then he gave it up abruptly in 2003, I say. He says it was late 2002. I think it was early 2003. Whatever, he's never drank a beer since. It was making him feel bad. Like, he would drink one Coors Light and start running a fever. But, you know, when you do the, like, major high volume drinking on weekends, never during the week, but on weekends and days off of work, from like age 16 to 59, you're gonna run into some, you know, repercussions. There's gonna be some blowback on that. But I'll try, you know, my regimen of 22 to 24 beers a week is working out really well. I think I feel much better drinking beers like Budweiser than drinking all those soft drinks, which I never drink anymore. It's made with water, barley malt, hops, yeast, and rice. And the beer has always been made with those ingredients since 1876. And if you look at the old labels, and you can get on their website and other websites, but the Anheuser-Busch website shows labels back to 1876. And it was always made with those ingredients. Okay, so that's this myth that they changed things after Prohibition. They did not change anything. If you read the descriptions of Budweiser, pre-Prohibition, and there is literature in existence for that, what they describe is exactly what I'm drinking now. I mean, it was the same, okay? Essentially, for all practical purposes, it was the same. Yeah, they used a lot of marketing. Yeah, they heavily promoted the beer. No, that is not the only reason it caught on. It caught on because of its high drinkability, okay? Its exquisite pairing ability, its mellowness, and their quality control. Some people, Budweiser makes them have a terrible headache. I think that's something to do with the yeast. I know a guy in Kenner, Louisiana. He said, I love Budweiser. That's my favorite beer, but it gives me a horrible headache. I cannot drink it. I said, it must be the yeast. It doesn't bother me. I think if you drink enough of it, it does kind of come across as an ice pick through the forehead. You get kind of that feeling from it. I don't know why. It's sweet. I guess on the sweetness scale, it would be 2.5 to 3 out of 5 sugar cubes. The hop cones would be, 1 out of 5 hop cones. It's not a bitter beer by any stretch of the imagination. It has hops to balance out the bitterness. But if you're looking for a hop bomb, well, I'm not even going to make that statement. It's obvious no one would reach for Budweiser that was looking for a hop bomb. Nobody would be that stupid, okay? So, but $1.49 for this bottle. That's a little high for an 18-ounce bottle, but it's got the name recognition. It still sells 18 million, 16 to 18 million barrels a year. It's not really because people abandoned Budweiser. It's because people switched to Bud Light. So if you count Budweiser and Bud Light as a single brand, which is really the proper way to look at it, and I think I'll do a double down on Bud Light, which I'm not too thrilled with. It's too thin. But if you look at those as a single brand, they are untouchable. I mean, in the world, okay? And there was some article about Snow beer. That was the biggest selling beer. But that article was garbled because they were taking the whole line of Snow and counting it as a single brand against Bud Light. Well, I mean, you could do that with Bud Light, Budweiser, Bud Ice, Select by Budweiser, Select 55 by Budweiser, Budweiser Clamato Chelada, Budweiser Clamato Chelada Picante, Budweiser, Bud Light Clamato Chelada, Bud Light Clamato Chelada in Limon. And then you could say, well, and that would even far exceed Snow. So, that's kind of a garbled article. So, yeah, it's got an awesome label. Yeah, it's owned by the Belgian / Brazilian company. That's globalism. That's world trade. That's going to happen. We don't care, really. I mean, I don't care. Some people are like hung up on that. So, Budweiser lager beer. They don't have the born on date anymore now. They've gone to the best by date. They've adopted the Miller regimen, fresh before 21st of May 2016. No problem there. That's, I like that. It tells you when to get it by. I think it's a fabulous beer, personally. If I had to drink Budweiser every day the rest of my life, I wouldn't get tired of it. I swear I wouldn't get tired of it. So I've got Colt 45 coming up. I've got Old English 800 Double Down coming up. Oh, here come the onions. Here come the onions. Très bien, très bien. Au revoir, mes amis. Budweiser.